In my statement, I mentioned that while I was busy writing the statement, a lot of people started coming in.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you testified that, I think it's Captain Rekotso
Warrant Officer Rekotso.
who approached you.
Yes.
What was happening there? Because it seems as if he also was trying to take charge of the scene. Can you just explain that interaction between yourselves?
Yeah. Usually, if you go to a scene, you don't just start giving instructions without talking to the crime scene manager. And at that time, I was still the crime scene manager. It was before Lieutenant Colonel Maluleka arrived. So what he did was come in and start giving instructions to the two Boysen's police officers to give him statements. And he was wearing civilian clothes. I didn't know who he was. And it was an awkward moment where somebody just come and start giving instructions and you've never seen him before, you don't know him.
And then when later on General Khan arrived, you say that he said to you, you must, when you went to introduce the photograph, what did you say he said to you?
I must stand back.
What did you understand that instruction mean? Did it mean that you must stop being active on the scene? What is your understanding of that?
Yes, I understood that as I must stop now being active on the scene. And hence now, because I was now standing back, maybe that's when I realized I need to hand over whatever it is the exhibit I have to the photographer. The reason why I went to fetch the seal with the intention to give it to the photographer, because now I was no more participating on the crime scene.
And also there was Rekotso as well there somehow.
Yes, Rekotso was also there.
And you said you were in fact planning to hand over the scene to
Lieutenant Colonel Maluleka
instead.
Yes.
And all of this, is it fair to say, contributed to the what we call, I think the word being used was chaotic or chaos caused?
Of course, because I would have appreciated it if whoever wanted to take the scene came to us and told us, listen, we want to take a scene. How do we, not to start now giving instructions and without knowing who he was. I asked him to at least introduce himself and let us work together. I think that although I didn't mention it here, there was a time when I told him we can still work together, but now you cannot just come and start giving instructions here on the scene.
I mean, in your understanding, what was really happening? Because we're trying to get to the bottom of this. Was it?
To be honest, commissioners, I think we were being managed. We were being people wanted to take over the crime scene, and the only way for them to take control of that crime scene was to get us arrested or intimidate us in that way. Because there are a lot of things that I can point out that are questionable. If they wanted to, honestly, if they were intending on investigating this case, I believe they could have done it better with the experience and resources that they have. I refer to the PCI.
Maybe just so that we don't forget, you say there are a lot of questionable things that happen. Maybe just list them.
Okay. One, commissioners, it was easier for them to go fetch the CCTV footage in order to assist them with their investigations. The dog unit, that was supposed to be used, they could have used it to assist them with the investigation if they were intending on searching, and also the release of the driver, most importantly the driver. Those are the three that I can at the moment point at.
Warrant officer, I think what we're trying to establish at the end of the day, remember when the initial call was made, at least to 10-111, was that they are bogus police who are trying to hijack a truck. And later on, obviously, there were drugs discovered. And then you were called, and you did testify that you are not particularly experienced in huge drug busts.
Correct.
And then the real police, when I say real police, I mean the police officials with Subs-Baki, they arrive. And we now know that at least it seems as if their arrival stopped the original intention by Mr. Mahane to have the truck, or at least the consignment, moved to Alberton, as he had to engage with those officers, and then ultimately were called to come in. And obviously what then is clear is that there is a confusion as to who is there, who's supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there. And to some extent, I think Warrant Officer Mahane says that some of you guys were labeled Tsotsi Corps, or at least Tsotsi Police. At least he says he was called a Tsotsi Police by General Khan. So you have to appreciate the difficulty we have is to try to understand, and also we have issues where it is quite apparent that the scene was poorly managed, as you heard from Mr. Warrant Mahane's evidence yesterday, that he considered that they have, on various levels, contaminated the scene and compromised to some extent the quality of the evidence. And you are called in to come in here to also assist in that situation. And we're trying to understand what was your involvement, and to what extent would they call you in particular to be the guy who comes to at least to be associated with what we call a chaos that was already happening, because when you arrived, the bike was already loaded with the drugs.
Yeah. So I cannot say, commissioners, that I knew the situation would turn out the way it did at the end of the day. But I was called in to come and assist in managing the crime scene, and unfortunately, upon my arrival, the crime scene, I found it the way it was. Already, the exhibits loaded onto the buggy, and I had to continue managing from where the exhibits were now. So it was an honest opportunity for me to prevent the drugs from being taken, from being stolen, and continue to investigate the crime scene, arrest the suspects, continue with the witness statements and all that. That was my participation at the crime scene.
And you tried to do that as much as you could?
Correct. I tried to do that at the best of my ability. It's unfortunate that at the end of the day, we were disturbed. A lot of people started coming into the scene, and we couldn't do anything.
And can you remember roughly between when the scene was handed to you, how long, in terms of the time, how long did you have before you were obviously disrupted to deal with the scene the way you would have at least dealt with it to the best of your ability, or at least?
Sorry, I don't get you. Is it after my arrival? And
yes. So between your arrival and the handing over of the scene to you, and to the point where there was a interference. So how long were you roughly in charge of
I can say less than 30 minutes. Because I was still busy on the bonnet, then that's when a lot of police officers started coming in and going to the buggy where the buggy was. It was not even 30 minutes, I can say.
Okay. All right, let's go then. You wanted to deal with your first appearance at Boyson's Magistrate Court. That will be on page 14 on your statement.
Okay. On the 11th July 2021, Sunday, we were charged and our warning statements were taken by the DPCI investigation team led by Captain Sebola. We expressed our dissatisfaction with our arrest and requested that our warning statements be written down. I also advised Captain Sebola in the presence of his other team members to obtain a video footage at the crime scene as well as to do Section 205's applications in order to verify our version. In our statements, we mentioned the reasons why we were at the scene. On the 12th of July 2021, Monday, while we were waiting for our case to be called on the court roll at the Boyson's Magistrate Court, our attorney at the time, Mr. Fenter, came and informed me that I was going to be released as the senior public prosecutor requested the statement from Colonel Sipungu and he gave it to them, confirming my version. If I may also add here, it was said by another witness here that, Colonel Stein, Commissioner, that he instructed Colonel Sebola to take a statement of Colonel Sipungu at the crime scene, when Colonel Sipungu was at the crime scene. So the statement of Colonel Sipungu was only taken at court on Monday, and after the instruction by the SPP to say, after reading my warning statements, to say Colonel Sipungu's statement must also be. I just wanted to clear that.
Chair, just for the record, the statement the witness is referring to is, we don't have to go there, but it's CJC 227.3 as part of the record. We don't need to go there, Chair, but the statement is part of the record. Perhaps before you proceed, Warrant Officer, as far as you are aware, has a video footage of the scene ever been obtained?
No.
And Section 205, does that deal with cell phone records? Or does it deal with it? Sorry?
Yes, that's correct, Commissioners.
And what were you requesting here then when you're saying the 205 application?
No, the 205 application should have assisted them in mapping out the communications between the arrested people and also placing us on the crime scene so that they can know whether we planned this thing before or where was I, for example, before I was called to the scene. Those things can assist. And the reason why you need to get this thing, this Section 205 and video footage as soon as possible is that some get, I'm looking for a better word, but they disappear, like they expire, especially video footage. Maybe if you find out it takes 7 days, then after 7 days you can't get that footage again. And it could have assisted a lot in proving what is it that actually happened on the crime scene.
And at paragraph 49, you're saying that your attorney, Mr. Fenter, informed you. So out of the 4 accused, was he referring to you alone, or is it the 4 of you were going to be released?
I understood it was me because it was after Colonel Sipungu's statement was submitted.
What would the statement have said that you believe would have at least justified the release?
He confirmed that I gave him a call and he gave me permission to attend the crime scene. Because otherwise, if he had said to me, you don't have to attend, I wouldn't have gone there. So he's the one who authorized my attendance there.
All right, let's go to paragraph 50 then.
Our case was called at around 1500 hours, and to my surprise, the attorney requested to address the court and placed it on record that while on lunch, the head of Gauteng DPCI, Major General Kadwa, together with Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Mlojwa, held a meeting with the Senior Public Prosecutor, Mr. Tusi, and the decision to release me was overturned. The case was placed on the roll and remanded to the following day, the 13th of July, 2021, for a statement. We were imprisoned at Johannesburg Prison with no bail. On the 13th of July, 2021,
Maybe read to the record the
they are
heading there.
released on bail. On the 13th of July 2021, we appeared at Boyson's Magistrate Court, and the case was remanded to the 21st of July 2021 for bail application at the Johannesburg Magistrate Court. While at Sun City Prison, I was called by the prison warden to inform me that I have a visitor and that I must come to the visiting area. To my surprise, the visitors were the DPCI investigation team of about 6 members led by Captain Sevola. They then told me they were instructed to come see me as they were told I had something to tell them. I told them there is nothing I can tell them as I have appeared before court already, and if I had anything to say, my attorney would have been part of that meeting, and that I never requested to see them. I was then taken back to my holding cell. While still in prison, I was visited by Brigadier Mbele, who came to serve me with SAPS Section 43 notice.